up here, I have a couple of housekeeping items that I wanted to share with you today. If you haven't signed in, please sign in. I'm going to be sending out a feedback survey after the demonstration today, so feel free to do that on your way out if you haven't already. Around the feedback survey, I do have a limited number of hard copies, so if anybody wants one, stick your hand in the air now, and I can give those to you if you want to kind of fill it out as we go along. And have pens and that kind of stuff. Today's demonstration will be recorded, and I will be able to send that out at a later date and time. So if you have to leave at a certain point, don't feel like you're going to miss out, because we'll be able to record it and capture it and send it out, and you can see the entire demonstration. Today's agenda is at the front of the table. So today we are first starting out going through our end user experience. We will have a break at 10 and then jump back in at 10:10 to continue on with the rest of the demonstration. And we also leave some time at the very end today, so probably during the 11 o'clock hour, time for some Q&A. So if you have questions that you'd like to ask of these guys, they'll be at the very end today. But if you can't stay, feel free to forward those on to me or add them into the feedback survey, and we'll make sure that we can get those answers for you. With that, I'm going to turn it over here to Rob and Everett, who will do our demonstration today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. So, perfect.
Okay.
Awesome. That's great. All right. So my name is Rob Willie. I'm an account executive here with Cherwell. I'm actually from Portland, Houston, Oregon, but I'm kind of actually from this area. I used to live over on Patterson for a while, worked at CD World, so kind of somewhat local. I brought with me my esteemed solutions consultant, Everett Cunningham.
Esteemed.
Yeah. What happens when you get gray hair? You start being called esteemed. So,
really?
Yeah, they do the same thing. So, Everett is with us out of Gig Harbor, Washington.
Who knows where that is? All right. Good deal.
Yeah. So, so question for you here. So, just to kind of lay out the land here, how many folks here work on the service desk itself? Okay, a couple. How many folks are, like, say, computer technicians, Rob, and field, or field techs? Is that what you guys, is that what you call yourself? Okay. So just kind of, so rest of the room, how do you guys interface with the service desk today? What are the other folks here doing?
We're going to a small service desk.
Okay.
The queues we have managed services.
Okay. Anyone else here? How else do you guys interface with the service desk today?
Very similar to teams we use to manage their small services.
Okay. So a lot of these guys work with different departments, different schools, et cetera.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone?
Got it. Yep. Cool. All right. So next question, as I get going here. Who here has heard about Cherwell before? Okay. Cool. Anyone been to a conference, like a team conference, and seen us there, or seen any demos before? Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to talk about this one real quick. So when we look at today's environment, right, and it doesn't matter whether you're in a business or whether you're in an educational facility or in a situation, the business is really requiring more and more of technology, right? It used to be that technology was in the basement, right? That's kind of where you guys have been here. And that's kind of the way it was. But nowadays, it's like, okay, technology, I mean, look at the classroom, right? We've got 4 objectives. Technology is being required to deliver education to students, no matter where they're at, right? U of O is not just in Eugene anymore. U of O is around the World Wide Web. So and because of that, and because of this requirement of having technology, not just the people doing publications, not just people, fixing projectors, right? There's really a requirement that we respond. Not only that we respond, but we respond kind of fast, right? Because people want things now. So now it's the now type thing. So when I look at this, I think this actually kind of goes into what we just chatted about, what you guys said, right? I've kind of been working with Kelsey and Sarah and some other folks here probably over the last, about 6 to 8 months now. And so I've had a time to kind of assess, kind of where you guys are at. I've also worked with U of O probably since 1998 with various other technologies as well. These are some of the challenges I see. Fragmented ITSM, right? That's kind of, I saw that with a couple of different service desk implementations here. Diverse teams, right? Because you guys all serve kind of different groups. Law school versus education versus library, you know, there's all these different needs that you guys have to, you know, basically serve. You guys have multiple processes. Who here has the same process as the person next to them? Yeah, right? It doesn't exist. You know, it kind of goes back to point one, right? Also, too, is everything in this campus integrated? All your tool sets integrated? No? Okay. I kind of figured out. So, you know, these are the challenges. I mean, and it's interesting because, you know, I deal with education, I deal with cities and governments and, you know, corporations, and you guys, this is kind of unique to you guys. You know, and this really, I mean, like I said, I've been working with you about since 1998, so I've seen this evolution, right? And it's, you know, I've seen it. So, you know, you kind of look down the stack. You know, another thing that you guys have going on, right, is that you have student resources on your service desk. Is that right? And so because you have student resources, you have these folks that are kind of churning over, right? And you need to have a tool set that's, number one, kind of easy to use, and that you can train people on pretty quickly, right? Because you have this complicated beast of a tool. Ever worked at Remedy? I worked at Symantec, right? So we kind of know what BC tools look like. So if you have a tool like that, that's, you know, that you have to send someone to 6 months of training to use, that's not going to really work for you guys. You need something that's kind of easy to use. You need something that allows self-service, right? You need some portals and self-service and end-user tool sets, right? Because once again, I mean, it's a diverse population. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And you're going to need to be able to kind of customize and configure those tool sets based on that user population. So is this kind of hit on what some of your challenges are? Okay. Any other challenges I left off here? Okay. Oh. Yeah, integration is one we see a lot. I mean, you know, back to that first slide where I started talking about, you know, how business is really acquiring stuff technology. You know, another thing that's happening, you know, and I'll get to this here in a second, but is that there's things like SOA and ITIL and Agile, right? And we're trying to weed out, I mean, you get this thing called software sprawl, is what I call it, in any organization where you get all these software titles, right? And you may have 5 different pieces of software that kind of really do the same thing. So organizations are kind of whittling down the amount of software that they actually have. But once you get down to, you know, kind of 1 or 2, you need those then to work with the other software you have in your organization. So I actually like this slide too. This is a good one. When we look at, you know, software, right? And I mean, we all have been around for a while and know what software does and whatever. But those are pretty self-explanatory, right? You buy a license, you pay someone to implement it, right? Whether it's your own resources that you're paying to do it or someone else. But the other stuff, right? That's the stuff that's going to get you. You know, once again, you work at Remedy, I work at Symantec, right? Symantec had a service desk product. When you went to upgrade that thing, it would break. It would break all the processes that you built, right? So it was kind of a costly upgrade. Because we all have different processes, right? We all need to make that tool set kind of work for us. Just because it works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So I need to make sure that I can configure and customize it to work for me. So what are those costs? Administration costs. You know, do I have to have a team of developers, Java developers, people that know CSS code or HTML5 to maintain my product? Or, you know, can I have a couple students do it? What's the administration cost? Development. Any developers in this room? What do you develop on, sir? Okay. But do you want to develop for a whole ITSM solution for the whole campus?
Oh, yeah.
All right, he's hired. He can leave now. Take a box of donuts with you. You know, but there's the development cost, right? You got one guy. And then the integration cost, right? A lot of the platforms out there, yeah, they can integrate, but there's a cost associated with it, right? You guys know Bomgar, right? You guys use Bomgar here, right? Other solutions out there on the market, they can charge you $25,000 to $50,000 to integrate with Bomgar. We integrate with that stuff out of the box, no cost. And Everett might actually be able to show you that. All right. So that's kind of, so real quick, since some of you guys know Cherwell, we were actually created back in 2004, kind of spun out of some other ITSM tool sets. Our founder, Vance Brown, a really cool guy, came from Front Range Heat, founded Front Range Heat. Him and Mr. Feldman, who Mr. Feldman actually sits on the .NET board, they kind of spun some ideas around. They figured out, hey, we can actually build a better tool set with this. We can build something that is extensible, you can integrate stuff with, that when you upgrade it, it doesn't break, right? And it's all kind of based off, we're a .NET platform, but we have an XML definition code that when you can make a configuration of the tool, you're really just writing XML definition, which is kind of key. So that way, we separate off our core code from what you do in what we call kind of a extensible layer or metadata layer. And so when you write configurations or when you make changes, we're just writing those XML definitions. Kind of different. So I mentioned before, so ITIL, who here is ITIL certified? Oh, wow, that's actually pretty good. Who here is Scrum Master? Agile, anyone? Who here has SOA certification? All right. So when you look at this, right, I actually used to say ITIL is just the framework. I just changed this because I started thinking about this. So when you start looking at these other pieces of the puzzle, Six Sigma, Agile, Sprint, ITIL is just one piece of the puzzle, right? And organizations, I mean, there's all these different things that are coming at you. But ITIL is a framework. And all these other things are frameworks too. And so when you look at it, once again, everyone has a different process. And so when you look at that, because everyone has a different process, you need something that you're able to easily configure. Now, who here has been with the organization for longer than, say, 5 years? 10 years? Okay, I'll stop there. So, you guys recognize this, right? I mean, this has been a battle. There's really some interesting dialogue out there on the internet if you ever want to have a good, late night read. Go look at configuration versus customization. Who here can kind of give me the baseline definition of the difference between configuration and customization? Customization, you're writing code. You're doing ones and zeros, right? Configuration is really more of a visual drag and drop. You're making changes to stuff, but when you make changes to stuff and you upgrade, it's not going to break what you already did. So traditionally in the ITSM world, there's been a kind of a payoff. You can, highly customize your solution, make it do what you want to do, but then when we go from version 8 to version 9, it's going to break. Anyone here ever used Remedy in the past? Okay. Yeah, I was at Symantec for a long time, too. Oh, there you go. See? Brother. So you guys worked with Sarah on the Remedy project, right? And remember when we tried to integrate with Siebel and Oracle and all that fun stuff, and we went from version whatever to version whatever, and it broke? See, that was because we had how they customized, right? And you probably heard, you do look familiar. So I was there for 16 years?
Well, 15.
Okay. Wow. Wow, there we go. So anyway, so yeah, so you guys know those challenges, right? So with Cherwell, it definitely is different. It gives you the ability, it's kind of the best of both worlds, but we are a codeless configuration platform. I kind of already talked about that. All right. Actually, I think this one's actually perfect. I didn't make this one for you guys. Trust me, I've had this one on my deck, but of course, Simpson, being Springfield, Portland-ish, right? So down below is what our configuration looks like. And you guys will see this in the demo. It's drag and drop, WYSIWYG, and it really is powerful. So it is codeless configuration, but you don't lose the power. You can do pretty much anything you can do in a customized situation that you can do with us. You can integrate with REST APIs. You can put in PowerShell if you want to. Up there, that's JavaScript. I don't know JavaScript very well. I'm sure I can learn it, but I don't want to. And that's what other folks' consoles look like when you need to do configure or customizations. So there's a company or organization called ITSM Review. You guys are going to get this deck, so definitely encourage you guys to look this up. They went out to the companies. You can see some of them up there, and they said, okay, how easy is it for your customers to customize or configure the product? How autonomous, right? Because autonomy actually in the software world is a good thing. Autonomy means that you don't have to call a consultant. Autonomy means that you're not always calling support when you want to do something, right? We talked about the student resources. Autonomy is key for you guys with those student resources. Big deal. And then they went to our customers and they said, how easy is it, right? So you can kind of see what we said as vendors. And then they went to the customers. And of course, and Cherwell customers said, yeah, it's actually pretty easy to do. We can build applications, we can build facilities, we can build HR applications, we can build not student information systems, but we can, I've actually had people build it for sheet music, to do sheet music checkout systems with our solution, right? Pretty easy. LAN desk, I've had experience with LAN desk, I understand that. He used to work for CA, he understands that one.
I won't admit that in public, though. Why did you say that? I got acquired.
Because you're esteemed because of the territory, my friend.
Yeah. Okay.
And then ServiceNow, right? So there's definitely this gap of how easy, the companies are saying and how easy the customers are saying. So there's definitely a gap there. And like I said, definitely go take a look at this. All right, I'm not going to touch too much on the licensing other than we are a concurrent user license, right? So that's a key thing too, because especially with student users, if you have to do named licenses with all your students, it's going to get unruly, especially during like back to school season when you have a lot of folks coming back in, and you're going to need a lot of licenses for that one point. Where concurrent, it really is just a concurrent license. It's how many people are actually in the agent at one point using the system. You can utilize us via we can host it, so basically our cloud. You can go to a third-party cloud, say AWS or Azure, or you can host it internally. And then you can purchase us as a perpetual or a subscription, which I think you guys are probably going to lean more towards the subscription model. But really, the point there is it's choice. No one wants to get locked into a certain model. No one wants to really be told this is how you have to use the software, this is how you have to procure it, right? We give you the options and we give you the choice. Make sense? All right, cool. Any questions before I let Everett take over? And are you ready?
All but one. Everything's working except I can't get the mobile connected to their network. There must be something blocking it.
Okay. Any questions before I switch the screen over to Everett? All right. Cool. So I am going to go like this, sir. There you go. Stop sharing.
Yeah, I've got the public site.
There you go. You're now presenter.
Okay. Whoa, it's really shrunk my screen.
Yeah, it does that.
Yeah, I need to see if I can expand it a bit.
And as we go along today, too, if you guys have any questions, by all means, feel free to chime in. We will have some time for Q&A. We do have a lot of stuff to get through, but don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay.
That's better. You guys see that okay? Or is that a little blurry?
It's a little fuzzy.
A little fuzzy.
Better.
Wow, that's going to make it really awful.
Yeah, so just a pre-warning.
Let me try a different resolution, maybe not so tight. Let's try 14:9, 1440.
Is that okay back there, guys? Sort of.
It'll work.
It'll work.
Well, let's see how it looks.
Okay.
Scrunches it a bit. Okay. Y'all ready? So as mentioned, I've spent a few years in the industry. I got out of defense contracting. I used to blow stuff up and got in the software world about 20-some-odd, I shouldn't admit that, a few years ago. And so I came to Cherwell about 2.5 years ago and love it here. It's a great company. Spent 11 years working on Remedy, lived through the Peregrine and the BMC years. If those of you who don't know Peregrine, look up Enron. If you know the Enron debacle, Peregrine was listed right after it. They cooked their books. So, but Remedy was a very honest company. Peregrine, not so much. So let's dive into the product and take a look at, so the first part we're going to talk about is the client portal, so your self-service portal. This is the portal that does not require licenses to access. This is our out-of-box. I added some graphics for you guys, and this portal can be completely tailored. You don't have to know how to write HTML5 or any other. It's purely a drag and drop, right-click to find what those objects are. Our customers take great liberties with our portal. In fact, I've got a little picture here that can show you some of the examples. We do have contests at our user conference, and let me bring this up. So this is Honda Aircraft. This was their submission to our contest at our conference. This is Cambia Hotels. So as you can see, you can change this thing wildly and make it fit. This was the winner last 2 years ago, TCU, so your competitors. So you guys will need to come in there and compete and see if you can upseat them. And then we also use the same technology, the same design tools for our internal dashboards. And while I have this up, I'll give you a quick peek. So this is a dashboard for management or for an agent. These are typically management. They're a little busy, provide a lot of information. And these are also part of our competition. And somebody didn't understand copyright laws there, so all right. Let's put that away, go back to our self-service portal. So the key point I want to bring out is that the portal does not require a license. It does not require complex programming to go in and alter it. And we do support single sign-on, so you don't have to do as I'm doing here and provide a username and password. We support SAML2 for single sign-on for you techie guys. We also do have an out-of-box Active Directory integration, and you can attach as many domains as you want. We've got somebody's up to like 25 domains, bringing data in from all those different locations. This is the self-service portal, and there are a few extra things you can do once you log in. You can have things outside of the portal if you wish. If you want to have something like knowledge-based access outside of the portal, you can do that. If you want to have password reset, we do offer a password reset interface that lets you have a two-factor authentication on those password resets. One of the factors is a unique answer to a question, and the other is a key that gets sent to you via text. And then you can enter that key into your system, and then text or email. Then you can enter that in there, and then it'll authenticate you for password reset. And then it'll work with any system you guys may have on the back end. Okay? A couple of key things about the portal. So you guys probably are aware that one of the things you want to accomplish with these portals is you want to reduce the amount of calls, and you want those status check calls to say what's up with my ticket. The real simple calls, you want to have them be able to take care of them themselves. So we've got status checking. People can just look here and select their tickets they've submitted and mouse over and get information on these. They can drill down into these. You guys can provide whatever information you wish on these particular records. So you can see you've got assignment information. You've got over here response time and completion time. So these are your SLA information. Here's assignment. Let's see if I picked one with. No, I didn't. Yeah, I picked one with tasks. So this is one of the things that was in your requirements list that you sent me, that you wanted to be able to see the individual tasks on here. The funny thing is out of box, we don't list that because we don't want to overwhelm end users, but it's your requirement. So it took me all of 10 seconds to click a box and say add that. So altering the solution is very simple. So you're not stuck with we've done out of box. You guys can change it, as we saw in some of those other graphics. But you can also change further, other than just the graphics. You can change the workflow and the visibility into anything you want. All right, so let's go back home here. So doing your own status checks is key. Searching knowledge is key. You can search knowledge here, or there's an FAQ right down here at the bottom. That'll be the items that you say you like, and they bubble up as you like those items. So you can access the knowledge base here. You can see wireless isn't working, and it will take full sentences and then filter out all those goofy words there, or the nonsense words, or the trivial ones, and then give you a listing of articles. Now, I have to admit, my sample data in here is getting a little dated. We have to update this a bit, but you can provide rich text graphics. You can also provide URL links to videos if you wish. We don't recommend you store the videos. You can, well, You can put some videos in, but we don't recommend you store information in the database because it really piles up quickly. They take up a lot of room. So links are much better. And then you've got the option to like, dislike if you don't. Actually, let's go do that again. It was off to the side there. Let's go to this one here. Get this. Yeah, the resolution is really scrunching things up here. So here you have an option to provide some feedback as a user of the knowledge. Adding a comment helps your knowledge manager be able to clean up the articles. And then the yes and no do a couple of things. The yes will actually create a ticket and close it and record that it was used, the knowledge was used to fix that problem. So you get a count. Anyone here the knowledge manager? No? Okay. So the for knowledge manager will then see who's using this and also be able to use that to determine what's not being used, and maybe there's issues with it or it's just outdated. And in here, if you say no, you have the option to create a ticket, and it will link this particular article to it and say, hey, this is where I looked. So the agent gets the information, and it gives them a little heads up as to where they went, what they looked at, what they didn't think helped them. So it just gives the agent some additional information, and that creates the ticket there. Then also you can provide any chart, graphic, and report to your end users. Now keep in mind, they don't have to have a license, and these are interactive graphics, so you can drill down into those, and that's the card view right there you were asking about. So you have an option. You can have a card view, or you can have other views. Card view is fairly new in our solution, but you can have other views as well. You can have a list view and all sorts. But the graphics, again, you can provide any graphic, but keep in mind, we have the ability to set really tight security rules. So Tracy here, my user, she is only seeing what she's allowed to see. This is role-based and security-based. So she's only, the reports and the data in the reports is only based upon what she's allowed to get to. Same with the articles. She's only allowed to see articles that are deemed available to, based on her role. Right, so you don't have to worry about security and showing things they should not have access to. See other things, you guys, the catalog. So let's jump into the catalog. But before we get in the catalog, what I'm finding at universities and also hospitals and universities with hospitals or with hospital training organizations, medical schools, is that they keep telling me when they see the catalog, they say, oh, the doctors won't even, they won't deal with the catalog. And most medical folks won't deal with the catalog. It's just too much for them. They just want to say, submit a call. So we've got multiple options for that. We've got email, so somebody can come over and create an email. Tracy here, my user, has an email account, and she can compose an email and send it to the service desk, and it's just the email. I named the email box after me, and we'll say, let's say wireless isn't working, help with wireless, love Tracy. And anyway, so you can set up multiple mailboxes. Those mailboxes send the information into the system. They get, the data gets parsed. You can set up various parsing rules on the context of the email so that it's not just goes into a general bucket. You can key on print or other various words or strings and then have those go into somebody's queue. So they're much more intelligent than most people think. And then she gets replies. So here's one I did earlier to test when I just sat down here. And this is the auto reply for the one I sent in. And it is for printing. It's a printing issue. But you can see, you can format actually these emails any way you want. And you can have different emails go out to different teams and have different formatted text in there. But this is an auto reply. Now, Tracy can also be an approver. Oh, let me go back a little bit, show you while we're in the email here so we don't have to come back. There is, let me look here. I can't see that up there. We do have surveys. So we have a survey template builder. So if you guys want to send out surveys and see how well you're doing with your organization, which is actually kind of important because you want to know how people feel so you guys can improve. And for those ITIL folks, it's that CSI, the service improvement, continual service improvement factor. So you can create your own templates, and when people go into these templates, they can, you can have as many questions as you want, and typically 5. I would recommend no more than 5, otherwise people will just say forget it. So you can have different types of questions. You can have it laid out differently. You can have stars, or anyway, the template builder allows you to create different formats of the surveys. Also, you can use this as a reminder, or if Tracy, for example, here Tracy is an approver. She's a manager, so she needs to approve things on behalf of her team. And here is just a real simple email and approval, and all she has to do is click to approve or click to deny. And you guys can control what actions, define what actions occur when they approve and they deny. So especially on the deny, because that approve, it usually just goes to the next step, whether it be a secondary approval or, oh, maybe some processes start, whatever. But the deny is a whole other thing. Folks sometimes like that to go right to the beginning, completely cancel it, make them start over. It's up to you guys. So you can attach business rules to these actions. And you don't, again, you don't have to write any JavaScript or coding or anything like that. Okay? So email is very, very powerful. Do you guys use email much still on campus? Yeah, we do too as well in our organization. We use a lot of email. All right, so back to this, the catalog. So what I was saying is creating tickets can be done through email. It can be done through the portal in a couple of ways here. We've got a real basic catch-all portal catalog. It's not a catalog item, but just a means of submitting a request, and you can even submit on behalf of. And I'll talk about this in just a minute. But you have a couple of questions to help set the priority. You know what happens when you have a low, medium, high, urgent? What do you usually get? High and urgent. It's always high and urgent. So we have questions, and you guys can change these. You can add more fields if you want. And we have a matrix behind it that says, okay, if this is selected and this is selected, it's a priority 3 or priority 2. We set it for you. And then the description field, this is a rich text, so you can drag and drop things in here. We'll do printer again. Printer is dead, EAD. And any of the comments from the agent will be visible here, and there's that task again, as soon as something gets put in there. This will then get submitted and go into the system and get parsed out to the team based upon data in the description field. All right, so here's the catalog. Now, it's going to look a little busy, and that's because we've got a lot of samples, and I'm showing you all the samples. Typically, you narrow this way down. Now, if you saw Texas Christians, they had that circle and all those items on the outside. They didn't even use our catalog. Well, not the full catalog. They took parts and pieces of it and put it on their own interface, because they have like 10 key items they do all the time. And that's basically their services. And so they put them on a front screen. Sir?
Before you go there, back on the incidents that you were doing, how do you categorize? So on the incident, for instance, if you say printer is a problem, somehow you have to have developing filters on the back end in order to
key on printer.
Gear, look at that. Or it sounds like you can customize it to say, is this a printer, is this wireless, is this something?
Yeah.
So that we can have a little bit more information prior to just having to parse everything out of that email.
Correct. Yeah, and that's what I recommend you do that. There's a field you can add that is your services. So it's a 3-tier categorization. So you can add your service field, and you can add your category, so service category, subcategory.
Because otherwise metrics are going to be really hard to do unless you got some filter.
Yeah, or you have a dispatcher who goes through and looks at all of those and goes, okay, this goes here, this goes there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question. All right. So on the catalog, back to the catalog. So the benefit of the catalog, I should do this like a school. Who knows what no, we won't do that. I won't put you through that. So the catalog, you can do a great many things within here. You can automate significantly in here. So for example, this Notepad++, this is an example of a software delivery item. This one's real simple. Actually, I need to be on the VPN for that. I often demo from home, and I'm on the VPN. I'm not on it here. So it won't work here unless I get on our VPN, because we use, for this demo example, we use Case to actually deliver software. What do you guys use to do software delivery, or do you have software delivery? SCCM. So we integrate with SCCM out of box. And this Case is also an out-of-box integration. And what this will do is it'll go to those systems and actually, based upon the server I say, it will deliver that software to me. You can slip in approvals in there if you want. So if it's pricey software or unique software that you want their manager to approve, you can slip in that approval. But I won't run it because it won't run unless I'm connected. Let's see, let's go back to our catalog here. So you can do great things like that. You can also, we have what are called specifics fields. So for example, here's a new employee setup. So your employee faculty provisioning. You have unique fields. Let me use my cheater button here, fill the fields in real quick. You can have fields guide and direct individuals. So if it's a contractor in this case, it adds a contract end date. So you can really guide folks through the process. And then as you submit this, the whole back end can have its own unique assignment and process rules to define approvals and create individual work orders / tasks. I use that word synonymously. But you can create all the work orders on the back automatically, and they will kick those off at a particular point in time. And then the person who is tracking this can watch the tasks, as we looked at earlier, and track those through the process and see how it's coming, so that the individual is ready to start work on the first day. So just an example of a front-end and back-end interaction. You can guide folks and pick items. So you'll see here we've got devices we can pick, and then there's dollar values associated with these. You can drive your approvals based upon dollar values. Those work orders are all driven by, or can be all driven by what you've selected and chosen throughout the fulfilling of this, or filling out this item here, this catalog item. And then we can add that to the cart. Once we're ready to check out, we can go add another item to the cart. And once we're ready to check out, we can now submit our order, and it will begin the process. So the catalog is very valuable for a couple of reasons. You can associate workflow to it. You can guide folks through a process. You capture additional information by having fields required. When you have that information, your agents will get that up front. They don't have to call back and say, hey, I need to know where this person's going to sit. I need to know. So they get all that info, and then also they're able to process those more quickly because they've got that info. Sir?
So when you say workflow, does it actually have a notion of sequencing and tasks?
Yeah, it does, and dependencies and sequencing. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's all configurable too. So once again, and you can actually have it based off different departments, because once again, you're going to have probably different workflows for different groups. So it's all configurable.
Yeah, and if you have a VIP, for example, you might have, if it's the dean of a department, you might need a couple of extra tasks as standard, and you can do that depending upon, their position and classification. So you can start and have additional workflow like that in there.
So there's a routing mechanism for each of these different services in here that we can set so it's
Yep.
for people.
Correct, yes. And the tasks are all predefined so that they have the routing defined within those to the different departments. And you can have those change based upon what the department is and where the needs are. So that's the benefit of the catalog. There's also, let me just choose one of these guys here. We do have a procurement capability within the solution. Let me add this one up here because we may look at this one later. So I'm just ordering a single device for myself. I just ordered a MacBook Pro. So that's the catalog. There's about 60 samples out of box. Folks usually pick up about a half a dozen, get rid of the rest, add their own. So again, you guys can pick and choose what you want to use. We try to put a significant amount of samples in here so that you guys can have examples to use and understand how to put things together. Then there's also great documentation that we have to help you guys understand how it's all put together. So we've got the catalog. We talked about the catalog. Also for problem management, there's a couple of other things. This is what we call top issues. These are what the problem manager posts. So anybody in here a problem manager? No problem management? You guys aware? Okay, I won't ask. So problem management is your root cause analysis. So the incidents are being worked, and some of those incidents may be just temporary workarounds. The fixes, an incident is a break fix. So these are ITIL terms. So if you're not familiar with those, a break fix is an incident. A request is a request. It's not broken, but I just need something. I want something. I need an answer to something. And then problem management is that root cause. So the incidents are supposed to be resolved as best as they can be. The problem managers are trying to find a permanent solution, right, ITIL guys? Their goal is to look for trends, try to target some areas where they feel they can find a permanent solution to stop all of those incidents from occurring, those break fixes. That's their job. And so this is a separate discipline, and they can post the things they're working on. So if I want to, as a problem manager, I can come here and show Tracy and anyone, okay, these are the things that we're working on. Do these affect you? And you can come here as an end user and subscribe and say it affects me too, and it will create a ticket. It will link it to that problem investigation, and when the problem investigation is completed, it will let Tracy know and everybody else that it's been completed. It will resolve their cases and pass them the resolution. Just a great way to efficiently manage many, many tickets at once. Right? Yes? What's that? And I did shift. Did it stop? Oh, interesting. Did I lose WebEx?
Sorry, folks. I just want to make sure this is recorded.
Yeah. Audio, let's see. Share my screen. I thought I did that already. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. Okay, so that is problem management. And there's also the ability to get in and see, as an end user, to go in and see the assets that I own. And if I'm having problems with an asset, I can link a problem or a break fix request to that asset by just selecting the create incident right there. And I can drill in and get information on that asset. So there's a lot of information in the self-service portal. You guys can really simplify this if you wish, but the goal is to provide the information that'll help these end users to get back up and running and working and productive as quickly as possible. Give them a single place for service. Questions? Yeah.
Question about workflow. So does the workflow aspect support if-then else?
Yes, we have case statements in there you can create. Yeah.
And the two things are, suppose you had some solution that to treat executing a service as something gets initiated. So in other words, suppose you had some other workflow solution actually wasn't your product. And part of the other solution was to execute a service in your product.
Yeah, certainly. We have a full API so that you can use that other service to initiate our API to perform some function within here. It's a very open API, so you can do more than just create a ticket if you want.
Yeah, and we have, and for example, Bongar, right? And Jira is another good example. Those two both can create actions within our system. For example, out of Jira, you can actually open up an incident or open up a ticket inside of Cherwell and kind of have those two marry along as Jira goes through the process. So then you can also create something out of it. You could also go out of Bongar as well. So if someone hit you up via Bongar, but you wanted to open up a ticket to make sure that it was captured, you could hit that out of Bongar as well. Make sense?
Yep.
And in fact, that's on my list here to do because that's one of your requirements. So this is what I've done here is I've got a PowerShell script that actually runs some of our API right here. Here's our API, and then here are the fields we're going to fill in. So if we just come up, so again, this is a PowerShell script. If I run this beast, it's actually going to go in and create a request. Okay. Let's see, it's open. There it is there. Give it a run. There we go. All right, so we should see that one then created. But that's an example of our API. I mean, it's hard to see on the screen. But if you'd like more info. Okay. Good, I'm glad. My kids never believe me when I say things. Okay.
Question before you go on.
Yeah.
On the incident page where I added myself, this affects me also.
Yep.
Yes.
That automatically creates a child ticket on the original?
On the affects me to what it does. So for the subscription on the problem, so the problem is the parent, and it creates a relationship. I wouldn't call it well, it could be called a parent-child relationship. It's more of a peer relationship. Incident problem are kind of peers. But yeah, it creates that parent-child relationship, and when you close the parent, you can resolve all the children.
I'm automatically notified to
Yes.
Yeah.
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 And as a user, when I go in and review a ticket, where it's at in the process, are all those comments public comments that I can see, or can I have private comments?
You can have private comments.
Okay.
There's a checkbox that say make private,
Yeah,
make public.
you'll see that as we go through, but yeah, it's just a checkbox.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir.
How does this interface support multiple departments, or like customization?
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Yeah, you can have multiple sites.
Exactly, and you can also have multiple portals as well. So we see that quite a bit where finance and HR will have their own portal. A lot of companies will have different portals but have a singular service catalog. Just kind of depends. I mean, portal's really that front door. So.
Like here's a facilities portal we have. So we have, which brings up an interesting topic about portals, and I drew attention to that submit on behalf of that blue link that we saw earlier. So those are examples of what we call mergeable applications. Let's see if I brought it up. Cherwell has a store where you guys can go and pull down workflow. Not everybody wants to submit on behalf of, not everybody wants the facilities, but we make those available. And this is our map exchange, our mergeable app exchange. We call it a map exchange. And if we go and browse here, we've got different types of them. We've got extensions, enhancements, and integrations. So within here, if you want the facilities map, you can come download the facilities map. If you look here, you'll see some that say Cherwell, and then there are some that say, like here's a knowledge base integration for ComAround. That's a Swedish-based knowledge management solution. Very, very nice knowledge management solution, by the way. So if you're looking for something really powerful, completely KCS focused, this is a great solution. X Matters and the like. So you'll see our partner community contributes to the map exchange, and then of course we contribute to our map exchange. They're ours. I can guarantee you they're all free, well vetted, and ready to go. They're ready to go in different levels of development. Some are completely built out like our release management solution. It's very, very robust, very strong. There's another one, our IT project tracking, which is much more simple. And most people will take that and build onto that and add more functionality as they want. But it's more of a starter app. Same with our partners. Some of their apps are really built out. Some of them are not quite so much. They're more like teaser applications. Now, ours are all free, and they don't require additional licenses. So you'll use the same one license you use as an agent to access any of the other modules. So we don't, that's one of the benefits of our solution. One of our differentiators is the fact that we don't charge for any of these. Same with our integrations. We don't charge for any of our integrations.
We also, so one other point on this too, is we also have a concept of communities. So the goal there is to really get organizations that are kind of similar, you know, so universities, to really put some thought processes together, right? So Josh, he showed you TCU. Josh over at TCU, who I think had a couple conversations with Sarah in the past. You know, he really does a good job as far as managing the education community. Higher ed is one of our top 3 verticals. And so the goal there is, once again, to get folks together. And what you'll see is that you won't see all the mergeable applications up here, but on our community site, you'll see TCU and some of the other higher eds actually put mergeable applications that they made that are really more higher ed specific. So there's ways, you know, from a mergeable app perspective that you kind of benefit from other organizations, higher ed organizations using the product.
Yeah. A couple of things I do want to point out. Who are the guys that we're talking about integrations? Any of you guys concerned with integrations? You're concerned? A couple I want to point out that we've come out with is these orchestration packs. So we've got orchestration pack for vRealize, so that allows you to, are you guys using any VMware or Hyper-V or anything? Okay. So it allows you to request and interact with those solutions to fire up and initiate a new image. Provision those.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And so typically orchestration is above and beyond just a typical automation or workflow. It includes, like for example, our Active Directory will include PowerShell and other process. It includes quite a bit more. So
yeah, and same with you'll see over here. There's an Exchange and then an Active Directory, and we're coming out in our next release in a couple of weeks with an Azure. Do you guys deal with Azure at all for hosting things? Okay, so we also have an orchestration pack for Azure coming out. But please come take a look here. You can get here it's on our community site, and you can come and look at the different things we have. These are integrations. Please take a look at these when you have time. And this is not an exhaustive list of all the integrations we've done, but this is a list of ones that have been well documented. Some of these just explain how to use our tools to perform the integrations, because we have out-of-box integration capabilities. But this also has some of these also have full integrations done, like the orchestration packs and the bomb guard. They're completely built. All you have to do is plug and play. Some of them you have to do a little play. You have to go in and do the configuration, like the Dell case. There's a couple of configuration points. So just take a look at these. There's CTI integrations, barcode scanners. You guys use barcode scanners for inventory control? So we integrate with barcode scanners. External database, DocuEngine. Some of these are fairly new. I'm not familiar with yet.
Yeah, so take a look at them.
Yep. Okay. So I won't belabor that anymore. That's our map exchange. So again, the key differentiator is we don't charge for those. Yeah.
In the last 10-ish or so minutes, can you, so the ticket that you originally
Yeah.
submitted from Tracy about the wireless district, can you go back to like the technician's view of how to process that ticket?
Sure. That was, I thought that was the next section.
Well, let's move it to this one.
You want to move this one? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's go do that then. Let's put that away and jump in as a technician. Now, as a technician, we offer 4 UIs for technicians to do their work, because we want to provide them with a tool that helps them in the particular situation they're at. So we do offer, let's go up here, we do offer a web interface, and so it's kind of scrunching it there. And then we do offer the browser. We support all the major browsers. We also do have let's go to the browser. We can shrink that guy down a little bit. We do have a rich client or a desktop client. That's for guys who are, I'd recommend that for people who are heads down. And then also we have a client for, do you guys use Microsoft Outlook or do you guys use something else? Use Outlook? Okay, so the Outlook client is very useful for those who are they're off the phone, they're not taking calls at the moment, but people will sometimes send you requests directly, or they'll ask for status checks directly. They'll go around that mailbox that you've set up. And if they go through the mailbox, they'll automatically update the ticket. What this allows you to do, see, where's some Tracy's? When you bring up a Tracy call, it'll show you Tracy's calls down here. Let's find one there we go. In fact, I think I created one to test it this morning, right there. Okay, so this is a call from Tracy. She's asking for help. She's asking for a new issue. But you'll see all of her existing tickets here, and then also the ability to create a new ticket. This little icon, if you can't see it, it's a link icon. It's 2 chain links. And that implies that you can link this email into this existing ticket, and it'll parse the data based upon the parsing rules that we have. And then this one right here actually will create a new one. So it just saves your agents a lot of time. And then lastly, we do have the mobile, which, yeah.
Is that Outlook client, or is that Outlook client cross-platform, or is that Windows only?
That's I believe it's Windows only, and I'm not tried it on other types.
We'll find out for you.
Yeah, that's a good question. And we do also have a mobile solution for agents, which I can't get my desktop to show. This to show on the desktop. I'm going through your network, and it happens almost all the time. There's something you can't connect to.
If anyone wants to see the iOS agent, just come find us during a break.
Yes, absolutely. I'll show you that. And I do have some PowerPoints, so if you want to have those, I can show you those as well. The iOS client and the Android client are native applications that will let an agent go in and create tickets, review tickets, and the like. So let's go look at your ticket now. And so this is the one from here. Let's put this away and go over here. Let's see. Just shrink. Okay. Well, the dashboard's getting a little crunched here. All right, so I'll have to deal with it. So what we're looking at here, wait, let's see, where is it? Full screen. Oh, that's the problem. Let's make this a little smaller here. Okay, there we go. So on the dashboards here, these are completely configurable. And so what are we on? We are, like I said, we're browser agnostic. So this is the browser, and over here is the desktop. The desktop has the capability to let you completely customize or personalize these items. Let me make this one smaller too here. Now, the desktop client is a Windows only, but we do support Safari on the browser and all the major browsers. Okay. In the future, we don't have one. Of course, we don't have one yet, but in the future, yeah, that's on the. I'm not going to say it's on the roadmap, but it's something they know that needs to come. Yeah. And let's see. So the.
That.
I asked where's the YouTube link for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Good one. Okay, so let's a second here. So within the client, if you want to alter these, actually I keep getting distracted. Let's just go jump on the ticket. Here's the request. So what I've done is in the dashboard, I've gone in and jumped on a request. And let's see, what do we got here? New employee setup. So these are the two that came in. We did that new employee setup, and this is an example of that. The tickets are laid out so that you've got all your personal information, your SLA information, your ownership information on the side, your what they're asking for here, your classification here, and these fields here, these step 3s, these are your specifics fields. These are fields that are unique to this request. These are the ones we looked at on the self-service portal. And so these will change. And in fact, let's go and create a new request so you can see how it's done here. But we can go through and manage that new employee setup by launching. That requires an approval, so we can launch the approval and then move it forward. But let me show you how this works here from a new request standpoint. Oh, sorry, let's go new request, not a new release. And what we're going to do here is put in, so Max is calling, Max is calling, you just have to put a few characters of his name. He's calling about his email, isn't working, email. So the red items need to be filled in. And we're going to now go down to our service and classify the service. You can pick from the waterfall, the 3-tier waterfall. You can come over here and just say, hey, show me everywhere email exists in the catalog. And now I can come over here and say, okay, oh, he needs a new account. Let's go over here, take this. He needs a new mailbox. Now you'll see here, we can set priority. Priority is a combination of impact and urgency, which is an ITIL recommendation. This individual is requesting a new email box, so we're going to say with client, email client, we'll just say Outlook, space allocation. Oh, we're going to give them 1 gig. Additional details go here. And then you can submit this, save that, and this is in my, so I've got this set up. The rule on this one is that it goes to the person who creates it, but you can change those rules. The assignment rules are in the catalog, and if we look at the catalog, you'll see each of these have different assignment rules. So you can set them up however you want. I've just got mine set so that it goes right to me automatically. If I need to reassign this, I come over here and just assign it to a new user, give it to Gina if we need to. If we need to escalate it, we can escalate to level 2 or level 3. Since the person who got it originally was a level 2, it started out, it lets you now escalate to the next level. But to escalate this, what it does is it creates an escalation request. Yes, sir?
Can you assign to other sites?
Other teams and sites? Yes. Yes, if you want. You can just select the team.
Are they external to UVO or part of UVO? Curious.
Oh, good question.
Someone else take care of all of our problems.
Short answer is both.
Okay.
At least in our silo.
Okay. So will you grant them access to your system, or how would you like to grant them access to the request?
Currently, we parsed it out through email.
Okay. So is that how you want to continue? Because we can do that. We can support email.
Can't answer that question.
Don't know.
That's above my pay grade.
Oh, you figure it out. Okay. Well, we can support many different methods. So if they choose to stick with the email parsing or email submission to their system, we can do that. Then they can reply, and our system will take the data. You can, well, if you want to share a license, you can temporarily give them access to the system. There's other things you can do as well to make that more simple. Okay, and we can certainly drill into that.
Can you revoke that license?
Well, there's a way to temporarily give somebody a license just to make an update through the self-service portal. That's usually used for managers who need to actually alter an existing ticket that's not their own.
Okay, but if you were assigning it to a third-party vendor so that you could share a license, can you then revoke it if they're not intended?
Yeah, they would. Yeah, you can. They just get it temporarily to make a change. So basically, to answer your question, this is how you go through and you can create a ticket from scratch. All these blue things you see here, these are some of our mergeable applications. So if you guys use Skype or Link for communications back and forth, or do you guys use Bomgar? Use Bomgar. Okay, so I didn't show that. We have a Bomgar. We have that Bomgar integration out of box. We also have a Link integration, so if you want to link and communicate with the person, you can just choose the customer here, and it will now let you go in and chit-chat back and forth. And once you're done with your discussion, now if I were on the VPN, it would work. I would hit the get link. It'll pull that information right into my journal, my audit trail down here, and it'll give me a record of that conversation. No, I know, it's Skype. This is Skype for business, yes.
That's a lot of real estate, though.
Oh. And journal, so do you know why it's called journal and not audit trail? Our CTO is a Brit. Like, when I got, he's like, what is a journal? Well, in the Britain, they do journaling.
So, Everett, we got to take a break.
Oh, okay.
Well, folks, I mean.
I have one quick question.
Sure.
You are assigning to different groups. Can you make it so that if there's multiple people involved in the process on a research request, how does it know to go from one to another without that person physically assigned? I'm assuming there is a way.
Yeah, there's a way to do that, but we follow, out of box, we follow the ITIL methodology, and that is there's a parent request. And if you need to bring in other folks, you use the tasking capability to then bring in other people to assist and to help. If you want to change that, if you wanted to transition from Team A to Team B to Team C as a process, we can certainly do that as well, accommodate that. Yeah. But out of box, we do the ITIL process. We want to take a break? Was that enough on request, just sort of a real brief overview?
What do folks feel?
There's a lot more to it. I mean, we're in the time frame. We've got to kind of keep it fairly high.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going to take a 5-minute break. I know we originally planned for 10, but so if you're staying, you're welcome to stay here.